Okay. No, I really didn't expect this to be this long. I think if I had known it was going to be this long, I would have saved it for maybe another time because I still have like Halloween stuff to do, even though it's way past Halloween. I have a couple more Halloween things to do. But you know, it's good to get this done. Time had never flowed more slowly. The lounge where we usually enjoyed ourselves was heavy with a tragic air. Our futures were placed in the hands of a jury who would determine the scope of our crime and the punishment to follow. Everyone stood around while I was laid back on the sofa, which made me feel even more anxious. This is agony. Our crime, but it really was all my own doing. I was sinking into a pit of guilt and confusion, but just as Valafar had reminded me, that wouldn't help anyone. The pain of what I had done hurt more than the wound on my back. The bleeding had finally stopped, at least. While I may have stained Zafan's car seats, I was slowly regaining my strength. As a Reaper, I'm not supposed to feel injuries so heavily. I had only become one recently, though, and still had much to make up for. If I would even get the chance to make things up, that is, I'd probably be tossed into hell for this. And the others who held responsibility for me, what would become of them?
Aina, I need you to come with me.
After pacing for some time, Sayer had suddenly stopped in front of me and urgently held my hand. Where are you taking her? Aries asked sharply, but Sayer aimed an even fiercer stare back. It is important. Kame is supposed to return for our trial as soon as the tribunal is here. We cannot afford. We will be back in time. Sayer grabbed my wrist and pulled me up, a hand on my back to support my weight. This must be done. Without waiting for anyone else to argue, he marched us through the door and into hallways full of whispers and stares. We passed Lilia in the hallway. She was grave, her eyebrows furrowed as she saw us hurry along. Where are you going? You have to go to court. It is essential that I do this, Lilia. Stall by whatever means you can if you must. What? You know what I need to do.
You owe me big time.
If I live to see it, yes, I am in your debt.
He left Lilia with that and picked up our pace to make up for the few moments we lost. If you live to say it? It was merely a dark joke. I didn't think you were capable of making dark jokes, Sayer. I can surprise you every now and then, right? Now, for one more surprise. We haven't taken you to Purgatory yet, correct? Correct. Would you like to see it? Surely you do not mean right now. I do, indeed. Is this the right time? This is the only time we have. We broke out into a run, but the strain was getting to be too much for me. I clutched my side and Sayer immediately paused once more. I must be burdening your body. Let me carry you. I'm okay, Sayer. In one swift scoop, he tucked his arm underneath my knees and flew through the halls. This is much faster anyway. Worry not, you are lighter than a feather. Then you must wear some very heavy feathers. Huh, indeed I do. See? I'm so interested in the angel side of this because he's the only one, like, around us, I guess. Without stopping, he whisked me through the halls of the building. I'd never seen him act with so much urgency before, which worried me somewhat. Even when healing me, he remained calm. Although his eyes had belied his anxiety, he remained steady, which I had dearly appreciated. We're really going. Really, really. Yes, hold tight now. If your injuries reopen, let me know immediately. I squeezed my arms around his chest, preparing for another trip through that door. Purgatory. Room of respite. Determination flared in his beautiful eyes, and his voice was stronger than ever as he commanded the door to return us from when I had started my adventure. Here we are. Here we are. We are not afforded the luxury of time for you to enjoy a proper tour, so we've come to where we must be. I am terribly lost, Sayer. I shall guide you. First, I should lay you down in this bed. I knew that he had the purest of hearts, and this was not the time for me to misunderstand any intentions, but it still caught me off guard. Pardon? He held me by the hand, and, with utmost faith in him, I followed him. That's not Sayer speaking. Lie down for me, Valkii. I squeezed his hand tightly and settled myself against the sheets. It felt familiar, comforting. When I first woke up here, my vision was too hazy to recognize where I was. As I lay here now, I realized this was where I had been all that time, sleeping, forgotten. I hate to ask this, but would you let go so I can sit beside you? I can do it while standing up, but I wish for my hand to remain steady. This will hurt a little bit, but it must be done. As he settled next to me, my mind really did begin wandering to forbidden places. Sayer, what exactly are we doing?
I'm returning to you something you lost.
Thank goodness, though on second thought. Wait, not now. What did I lose? Wait, I'm here in purgatory, laying down on what I'm guessing is a special bed in a special room. The room of respite. So that was its only purpose, somewhere I could rest for a long time. I have no memories of this place. Could it be? Does this have to do with my memories? You've always been an intelligent woman, Valkii. He pet my hair fondly, just like he always did. His strokes were gentler and lingered in my hair with each caress. Saya's eyes sparkled, and I could see tears. I tampered with your memories a long time ago. This is the very place I did it. In fact, I built this room just for you. Was that him talking to us right in the beginning, then? Once I extracted all that hurt you, I put you into a long slumber so that you wouldn't need to roam any longer. However, I did not mean to erase all of your memories of this place. I had meant to heal your heart and ease your pain. Forgive me, Valkii. Did I ask for you to remove my memories? To an extent. I truly did not intend to erase so much. That is all I can tell you. Why are you returning them to me now? I am afraid I may no longer be able to return them to you after today. I have to set this right. It will likely hurt. Your heart will ache beyond measure as you begin to recover your memories. I do not know if they will return to you right away, over time, or even at all. I will aim to not destroy the seal at once, but rather in a way that it erodes with time. That does not guarantee anything, though, as I have never done this before. Wonderful.
I must confirm this with you. Do you wish to recall everything?
That is something you should have asked before bringing me here, you know? Forgive me, I was not thinking clearly. I will likely be unable to reverse this. He gripped the sheets and his knuckles grew pale. I put a hand over his trembling one, hoping to quell his anxiety. He was so confident, so sure when he brought me here, but now I could see doubts war inside of him. But you think I should do it, right? I wish to give you the option. I do not think you will lose anything if we leave here right now other than the chance to remember it all again. Had I not been so terrified of everything else that was occurring, I'd likely be halfway out of this room. But if Sayir decided that this was something I needed, then I chose to trust him. Even more than that, truthfully, it would drive me to insanity if I could never recover my lost memories. It explained why everything was so fuzzy to me, why no matter what, I would encounter block after block. No, Sayir was right to bring me here. Is it better to not remember everything all at once? It will pain you too greatly. I considered a little longer, although I knew we were pressed for time. We had to do it now, or... Why only today? Sayir, you said that you wouldn't be able to do this after today. Why? What's going to happen to you? The sheets rustled as I jerked up and seized his soft hands in mine. Sayir, please tell me, are you going to die? Crying wouldn't do anyone any favors, so I blinked back tears as best as I could. There had to be something I could do. Anything. I couldn't let him die for me. Maybe if I knocked him out, I could run. I do not think that I will die. Really? Do you promise? Yes. He pulled back my hands and gently kissed my fingers. However, I may be unable to use some of my powers from today onwards. In case that is true, I'd like to do this now, so please do not fret. Lay down for me and close your eyes. I will be as gentle as I can. I don't want you to lose your powers either, Sayir. It is all right. Power comes with its own burdens. If I do lose them, I think I shall feel much lighter. Now we must hurry. There will be trouble afoot if we do not return soon. When I finally closed my eyes, I felt the softest flutter of his lips against my forehead. Forgive me if this pains you. He pressed a palm to my forehead, and by the time I exhaled, I finally had my first dream in this world. No, it was a nightmare. Ooh, we're gonna get to see. Never mind. Sayir held Valkii in his arms, careful to not jostle her a single whit. His slender fingers adorned her frame with tenderness, even as he flew through the halls of a building that became suffocating.
Our trial is to begin shortly, and you decided to go on a field trip. What on earth was occurring in that daft brain of yours?
And why is she like that? Has she done something to... I have decided to return to her what I borrowed, her memories. Sayir! He barked at the angel, but Sayir did not flinch once. For all his usual cowardice of Aries, he had taken on a different aura. So sure of himself that no one could change his mind. Perhaps that was why he felt such camaraderie with the girl sleeping in his arms. Her features twisted, small grunts escaping her lips, and sweat gathered on her neck. She had finally begun to dream again. The transfer had been a success then. How he had ached to give her a better gift than one that returned the thorns to her heart. I did not make that decision with a light heart, Aries came, but all is well. We returned in a timely fashion. Kane clicked his tongue dismissively and pinched the bridge of his nose. All is well, my ass. All is going to hell. We need to go now. She is still unconscious. I suppose that benefits us. She's not to attend the trial after all. At least it can keep her from arguing about it. What? Why can't she come with us? Isn't this related to her? Surely they could let her speak in defense of herself. She has not yet earned that right. Do not look at me that way. I am but the messenger. As she is our charge, the crime is ours to answer for. You all know how this works. I will handle this. I have put us into this situation. It wasn't your intention, Sayir. But I am still the cause, no? He gently lay her— Why is he the cause? And her not having her memories shouldn't matter, right? He gently lay her down on the couch once more and slid the pillow underneath her head. With the utmost tenderness, he brushed her hair away from her face and admired her features as though memorizing them yet again. When the time comes, do not argue against me, do not stop me. You aren't thinking of... Sayir. Enough. Let us go. Where is Lilia? She should be with Valkii when we're gone. Sayir's resolve was absolute and melancholic, but powerful. Kaim and Sayir led the group in silence to meet their judgments, while the woman responsible for their predicament slept in distress. Well, this is their fault, honestly. Like, I'm gonna be the first person to be... Like, if they try to undermine her war crimes, essentially... Well, not war crimes, but you know what I mean. Like, if they try to undermine her part in everything, I'm gonna be pissed. Like, you don't need to make the MC an angel. That's Sayir's job. Memories of my death swirled repetitively in my head, flashes and flashes, until finally they started to form a solid memory. I relived the swing of the axe, just like it was a page in a book, and finally I saw what came after. My soul... Is that a cat? Oh, hello? Who is it? Oh, it's Lily. My soul severed quickly from my body. My head, however, was not as fortunate. How terrifying. The guard that had been my friend, my final escort, sat on the ground near my corpse. He was shaking. Every inch of his body was trembling. Please look away. Don't do this to yourself. My words, of course, fell on deaf ears. Despite this memory being a nightmare of my own creation, I had no power. At least I could recognize that it was a nightmare. It was, right? Everything felt so real that I started to doubt myself. Real? Not real? Real? Time crawled. The people dispersed, satisfied with the show of gore for the day. The executioner departed, and the task of ridding my body fell to my friend. He was but a boy of 17, 18? It was wrong. It was all wrong. I had accepted a gruesome end to allow Felix a peaceful path to justice. But I realized now that I threw away my life so shamefully, so disgraced, for an ending of violent retribution anyway. I was angry at myself, at him, but most of all at the world for letting such atrocities happen and to have forced our hand this way. It began to rain. The blood won't wash away. The road was stained with crimson. The sky grew dark and the clouds became grey, perhaps to clean my blood off the ground below. Then, with the first clap of thunder, I heard an unearthly wail that sent ice-cold chills up my spine and all the way down to my fingertips. Felix? No! I woke up before I could see his face. God damn it! I jolted awake to find to my complete and utter surprise the man that now hated me the most. I was on my back, and Kame hovered over me, truly like a reaper who had come to collect my soul. If Lux could kill, I would be swept into hell right about now. The trial. Has the trial happened? Oh no, had I slept through the whole thing? It is over. What happened? Later. You wished to see the Hall of Memories, right? I was smart enough to recognize this as an order and not an invitation. Was that a shortcut to hell? Was he going to toss me into the pit himself? Came. I just realized that Lilia was sitting by me at my feet. This had to be a trap, but I didn't dare say so. Yes. Then come with me. Are you going to kill me? He pursed his lips, looking disappointed. Well, pardon my caution when you look like you want to eat me alive. No, as I have said, you are in no danger from me. I have neither intention nor desire of ever hurting you. And thanks to Sayir, the other risks to your existence have passed. For now. Until you act up again. Right, well, I don't intend to. Let's hope not. Anyways, shall we? He pointed towards the door with a jerk of his head, and I sat up slowly. My head was throbbing, and I felt myself slipping back down, but Kane quickly caught me. For all of his vitriol, I suppose he still cared somewhere deep down. What is it that you want to show me? I think it is something you need to see for yourself. It'll make sense when you get there. Kane, what are you up to? Never you mind, Lilia. So rude. Valkii, will you be okay? I'm fine. It was such a pathetic lie that Lilia didn't even bother to argue. I'll let the others know, she whispered to me as Kame dragged me out of the room. We passed none of the others, and I worried about what had happened to them, but Kame gave no indication that he would be informing me of what happened. The office itself had been full of chatter until we had entered. Voices fell into hushed whispers, and I knew that we were the topic of their conversation. They like to talk a lot, huh? I suppose they have good reason to. Where are the others? What has happened? What did Sayer do? Later. You will find out soon. Anxiety surged inside me yet again.
Well, here we are. Beautiful, is it not?
He gestured an arm outwards, showing off the scenery. Of course, the novelty wears off on those that must work here the most. It was wondrous, but in an almost frightening way, an eerie beauty. It was a maze I could get lost in all too easily, like the room itself could devour me whole. And Kame, there was something scary about his demeanor as well. His smile made me feel ill and only worsened my headache. Does he intend to abandon me here? Oh, I don't think I explained why it's their fault. But I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? You can't run into Malthus and Nox and be like, he knows that they were in contact with her and that they became friendly. You can't not go, oh, by the way, you cannot interfere with me capturing them. Otherwise, we will all be blamed. Mostly everyone else, because we are in charge of you. And bad things will happen. Like, why did you not say that? Why did you not make it fucking clear when you know how, like, headstrong and impulsive she can be? Like, it's crazy to me. It's your fault. Kame, I'm sorry. It's your fault, buddy. She did it because she thought, because she was fucking mixed up about her feelings with her own family, and she didn't want to see her friends get hurt or fight, and she thought that you, as their brother, wouldn't want to feel guilty over hurting your own family. Was she maybe misguided? Yes, but you misguided her. You did not guide her properly. That's on you. You are a bad teacher. I'm mad at you. The computers in the office are synced to here, so physical visits are usually for the purposes of cleanup and organization only. Let me see which one we are looking for. I'm still not sure why we are here. Now, usually, one would use the record up over there. It projects a screen for us to watch, and it's quite efficient. But I believe our purpose will be better served using a function of the room to truly replicate every last part of the scene. It is not typically used, as this space is needed for work, but no one shall be coming here today. He explained all this much like a patient school teacher, yet I found that I barely understood anything. The mechanics of the room, yes, but the why was still to be found. I am completely lost. You won't be for long. He pulled up something on his watch, then, using it as a guide, walked over to the shelves. As he searched, I looked around and took in the atmosphere of the room. I felt like it was going to swallow me up any moment. Here it is, the one I've been looking for, the reaping of the tyrant of Berengar. Otherwise known as Felix. My voice came out in a horrified whisper, although Kime paid no mind to it. He walked to the large device above while holding an orb in his hand along with his watch. Why? I think you need to see this to understand. Sometimes it is easier to show than to tell, and this is one of them. Kame, I don't want to see this. Before I had any chance to either argue or agree, the room took on an entirely different form, just like how it happened in the training center, as if we had come into an entirely different world. You are unable to remember your past. You wished to learn, didn't you? What happened afterwards? Here is the answer to the end of your path, and beyond your end. I've already started to remember the moments after my death. You have you? You did not witness the consequences that came after that, I presume. The air was stifling. Where are we? In a crumbling castle. I can see that much. Why this castle, though? It belonged to your paramour. This was his final target. He stormed this castle and like a beast felled He stormed this castle and like a beast felled even the crown. But there was no one left to serve him in the end. This place faced siege after siege and he alone survived. You can see that even the walls here have started to decay. Marred by blood and destruction, what is left? Our footsteps echoed through the empty halls, with not even the ghost of a servant or knight to be seen. The air itself was dead. This might have been a recreation, but it was far too immersive for me to feel any sort of detachment to it. Where the royal palace once stood tall, now lay a dilapidated crypt. How was Felix even surviving in such lifeless halls? He awaits for his death while the country burns. I fear the same will happen with you, that you will cut and destroy whatever crosses your path as long as you believe that you are in the right. How could you even think to compare us, that I could ever be that way? One thing leads to another. Do you deny that you two were cut from the same cloth? Or do you want to tell me that you weren't determined to do whatever it took to fulfill your revenge, all in the name of peace? His words burned me. Did he doubt my intentions all along? Was he right to? All I did was save your brothers from death. No, all you've ensured is that it will come to them. Had I been the one to capture them, they would be allowed to exist. They could have repented, but now they're marked for extinction due to the harm caused to you. What? It counts as a further transgression to their crimes. Then I forgive them! Unfortunately, the world we live in does not allow for that. Here, actions have consequences. Someone must be held accountable. Aries begged on his knees to spare you any punishment. He was willing to dive into hell just to protect you. We were all reprimanded. Our jobs are still on the line. But more than that, more than anything that happened to us, Thayer lost his wings. He gave them up for you. What do you mean by he sacrificed his angelhood to spare you of punishment and to let the rest of us leave with but a slap on the wrists? And you didn't stop him? The alternative was to let you cease existing. Of course, none of them would allow for that to happen. So you tell me, which was the best solution, to let you disappear, or... I'm sure you would have been glad for that, wouldn't you? Valkii. I clutched my head as he threw words as sharp as knives at me. My head was about to split from the pain. Too much was happening, and I could barely remain on my feet. I did not bring you here to argue. Come. He seized my hand himself and led us down more hallways, more paths that I could not keep track of. Until at last we reached a throne room. There I saw Felix slumped in the great seat. His face was gaunt and his regal attire was covered in bloodstains all over. I reached out for him, but Kame told me to spare the effort. Felix, he's... I wanted to hold him. I didn't care about anything else. I just didn't want him to die like this. But since this is nothing but a memory, he had already passed away, hadn't he? It's just a memory. You can't do anything for him. Kame's next words confirmed my suspicions, but his following ones set a new wave of fear washing over me. And you shouldn't want to. I was thankful he reminded me of that fact, because when a second Kame appeared, I had just about lost myself. I was already dealing with one, and that seemed to be more than plenty. Why is there another you? Because I was the one in charge of this case. Are you here to kill me? Never seen you before. I jolted as he spoke. I didn't think I'd be hearing his voice again. Felix lazily pointed a sword at the other Kame, who snorted in response.
My, put some life into it. Whatever you have left of it anyway.
Is this how you finally wish to go? How pathetic. Felix waved his sword once more, pointing it closer to the younger Reaper's throat. Begone. I fancy a duel. You waste my time. If you desire death, then spare us both some time and allow me to take your head quickly. Beheading people so easily. I held my neck again, feeling a phantom twinge of pain at the thought. Felix slashed out his sword, but Kame sidestepped it all too easily. In return, he brought out his own scythe, his smile never leaving his place. Its place? But I knew Kame better now. I could tell that behind that smile were eyes full of disdain and anger. Felix was a scar upon history to be eliminated, and Kame was playing with his food. If he is not dead yet, why are you here? You will see. I didn't like the sound of that. Felix took Kame's blade as an actual challenge, and he drew himself up to strike back. I flinched as they parried each other's blows. My fingernails were digging deep into my palms, and I started to lose the feeling in my knees. Are you proud of yourself, for all that you've done? Pride has never driven me, not once. Then was it for your beloved? Beloved? Did you mean me? What do you know of her? I know that she was wronged. I also know that this conquest of yours stems from some shitty desire for revenge. Felix growled and slammed Kame against the wall with his sword to the Reaper's neck. He was quite impressive in combat, even in his dying moments. His strength has always been inhuman. I know that your lover rots away, waiting for a man that she will never see again. She begged us to save your soul. A pretty thing like her deserved better than you. You're lying. His eyes were twitching madly, and he threw shuddering breaths as his knees struggled to keep steady. It tore me apart to see him come undone. My head began to spin again, and I clutched at my head, praying that the throbbing would cease. Why? Should I bring Valkii here myself? I have met her. She's lovely. I can perhaps see why you burned down the damn world for her. Give me a good match and I will take you to her. You can be together in hell. She wouldn't be in hell. She would be someplace better. Their blades clashed over and over. Sparks flew. Came Supernatural's scythe against Felix's mortal-made sword. Even on the verge of death, Felix fought impressively. He matched blow for blow with Came until at last his blade betrayed him too. He skidded across the floor and landed just a foot away from me. I shoved past Came and knelt down. It went against all reason, but I still put my arms around him. It was a little more corporeal. It was a little more corporeal than holding a phantom. He was nothing but a memory, a recreation. He felt like a doll. There was no warmth when I held him. A stark reminder that he was fake, like the spirits I had felt in the training center. But all our pain was real. You fought well. A shame your talents were squandered like so. Let it finally end. Let me see her. With a swift slice of Came's blade, I witnessed my Felix's head fall to the floor right in front of me. It was like every fiber of my heart tore apart, piece by piece, until there was nothing left in its place. You killed him, I whispered, my eyes trained on the head before me. Reapers also can be the force to take life away when absolutely necessary. How was this necessary? He was, like, already dying, or, like, he wasn't really doing anything. He was just sitting in his throne all depressed. He wasn't doing anything anymore. Why didn't you kill him when it was necessary before? I'm so confused. I carried out the execution of the tyrant of Berengar, as unworthy of my blade as he was. This is what happens when our actions go unchecked. Do you understand now? I was beyond listening. Everything overwhelmed me and my eyes were blinded by my tears. I also don't appreciate Kaim doing this to her. Like, this is just fucking cruel. There was a sudden light. We perhaps were returning to the hall we were in before. The execution had finished after all. But I couldn't tell or be bothered to comprehend. My body was racked with shaking sobs. I knew he had died. I knew it had been alone. I'm getting sad because I like him, for reasons. But seeing him surrounded in nothing but darkness and crumbled walls without a friend in sight, I at least had one person who didn't loathe me in the end. He had absolutely no one. All he wanted was to be with me again. We both died miserably. I should never have left him. Valkii. I felt a pair of... Okay, get away from me! I felt a pair of arms wrap around me from behind and I flailed in panic. It was too much. Everything was too much. I couldn't take it anymore. I was squirming. I didn't want Kaim anywhere near me. I wanted nothing to do with him.
It's me, Aries.
Oh, okay, good.
I got you. I got you. Just hold on to me and this will all be over soon.
Okay, I'm gonna say something, and it might be wrong, but I like my interpretation better of this. Did you see that Felix had 2 dots on this side of his eye? And Aries has 2 dots on this side of his eye? What if he became a demon in hell over time, and then decided to become a Reaper? There's a chance. There's a chance. I said my theory. I said my theory. And if it's wrong, I'm going to be pissed because I actually really want that to be true because I want Felix to be a love interest in any form. And it seems like Aries would know what the fuck happened in the past. And he seems to really hate his past self because his past self was not able to stop her from killing, like basically killing herself, getting herself killed. And he wasn't able to stop anything from happening. You know, so he would hate that past version of himself. Of course he would, more than anybody. He turned me around in his arms and squeezed me tightly while rubbing my back. Breathe, Valkii. You're gonna be alright. Felix, he... I was gasping incoherently and Aries nestled me tightly against him. I know. Are you alright?
Don't you dare ask that. You have no right to. How could you do this to her?
I think Arius's voice actor is my favorite, next to Sayir, I think. She had to learn about the consequences of her actions. We have coddled her, and it has been a disservice to both herself and us all. She did not know that he was going to do that. Yes, there are consequences, but she had no way of knowing that Felix was going to go on a death march after she died, because he had lost everything that meant anything to him, I assume. She didn't know that. She thought that they were... You know, she may have harbored romantic feelings for him, but they always got kind of pushed to the side because they'd always been friends, and also they were always like strategizing and doing all this stuff as well. Like, that, the cause came first. Maybe when the cause was over, they could have explored that a bit more, but they couldn't. So, she was all he had, and I feel like they both loved each other, just Felix knew about it. Or maybe he didn't know about it, and he only knew after she died. How tragic would that be? Oh my god, that's beautiful. I'm sorry, I love Angst. So she did not know that that was going to happen. She thought that by appeasing people who hated her and Felix, that it would do something. Like, she thought it would also save Felix. It didn't. She was not to know that. This could have been fucking sidestepped entirely, Kime. Like, you could have told her. You could have been like, hey, don't interfere. Please don't interfere, because there will be very, very bad consequences. And then if she decided to interfere, that would then completely be on her, because she knew the consequences of her actions. So, I don't know. You're pissing me off, Kame. We have coddled her, and it has been a disservice to both herself and us all. Thea bleeds and will suffer for many, many nights. She never wanted this.
She could have learned that without all this. Why twist a knife into her heart when she's already cut open? You are no different than a demon.
And what has being human ever done for anyone? Makes them a lot better than you, that's for sure. I see you are still a fool for her. What? I always will be. I'd rather be a fool than whatever brand of heartless idiot you are. How could you show this to her? How could you do this? To show her... Yeah, the consequences of her actions. What fucking bullshit. She's living as a Reaper. I think she understood what happened. She was told what happened, but she experienced none of it herself. And showing her... I fucking called it. Okay, I called this all the way, like, so long ago, by the way, when I was like, oh, I have a theory, but I'm not going to say it because I don't know if I remember enough about, I don't remember enough about, what he said about where he was during that time to know if I can put that theory out there and not look like a moron. But now, for any time you think that two characters are joined, there will always be things joining them. And that is his little dots. I would need to look a bit more closely at Felix. I kind of want to look at his outfit to see if there are any, similarities there. But the moles under his eyes were the big thing for me. Like, you probably saw that when I saw Felix and I was looking at him and I saw the two dots that I made a face. I think I made a face. I don't remember. But that was because I was like, See, I like that because it does give you crumbs and then you can be like, oh, I know. But he was also just so fucking against Felix that I was like, yeah, you hate him because you are him or you were him. You know how much she loved him. You let her watch. You let her hold him while you killed him the same way she died. I didn't tell her to. Being human would serve you better, Kame. Everything he shouted at Kame were words that I wanted to say to him myself, but I was so sorry for all that I had done and heartbroken by how much my spirit was trampled on today. I felt hurt by the world I had come into, the world that I had left, by the man who had been my ally and my friend. You really don't understand what you've done either. Don't be absurd. It wasn't meant to. You are no wiser than the rest of us, Kame. Your empathy is so lacking that you can't imagine what makes sense to you would actually hurt someone else. They volleyed back and forth, but I didn't have the wherewithal to listen to any more of it. I tugged Aries' shirt, and he shifted his grip on me to secure me better in his arms so that he could stand up. Let's go home, Valkii. You're not being mean to me today? He patted me on the cheek, tugging it softly. Would it make you feel better if I was? I shook my head and he laughed softly. The rumble in his chest was soothing and my heartbeat was soothed into a less frenetic beat. And you could say that he's mean to her because he feels like he doesn't deserve her. And he's trying to push her away. He could have forced that personality on himself. I closed my eyes all the way home. Aries didn't let go of me, not once. I think someone else drove us back. Maybe it was Valkii. It didn't matter. All I could think about was helplessly holding on to the recreation of Felix, while Cain beheaded him. It was the last chance I ever had to see him. I was almost grateful for it. I finally opened my eyes when we came back into my home. Aries laid me gently down on my bed and tucked me under the covers, although I kept my arms around his neck. It was immature, but it felt like that was the only way I could stay sane. His warmth was oddly comforting, despite always getting teased and taunted by this man. He was the one that came running to find me. There was a long silence, and I wondered if he would pry me off. Instead, he revealed what must have been bothering him. You held him, even though it wasn't real, even though it didn't matter, even though the only thing it did was make me feel like this. You saw? I did. The door reflects everything that happens inside. I couldn't come in until it was over. I tried to break it, but failed. I'm sorry. Feels weird hearing you apologize. You're not even in the wrong this time. I say sorry, you say I'm wrong. I don't say sorry, you get mad. You can never make up your mind. Why do you always have to keep me on my toes? I won't leave yet, so you can let go of me. I pouted at him. Leave it to Aries to still tease. No, it helped distract me. He was a good distraction. That's why I was glad he was staying. He sighed and lay down next to me, elbow propped up on the pillow. I didn't think you were so fond of me. Something about you feels familiar. Familiar, He reached over to start stroking my hair, and I found myself craving his touch. I felt like the sun in a frozen tundra. Things might start getting harder from now on. Your work is going to stay the same. But with the things that's happened today, a couple of the others might treat you differently. You can say his name, you know. There's a lot to figure out between all of us. But you'll be there for me, right? He didn't reply, and anxiety built up inside of me again. This was burdensome, wasn't it? Or was he trying to build up walls between us again? Of course I will, even if you are dumb and get us all into trouble. I won't anymore. You better not. Do you want me to stay with you for the rest of the night? I nodded, and without hesitation, he slid under the covers, wrapping his arms tightly around me. One hand cradled my head and the other on my back, like being in the embrace of a lover who would never be mine. That makes it 3 times he's held me. Go to sleep. Is this influenced by the choice earlier? Like who you choose to come with you? Like, to the roof? I'll have nightmares. Because this seems very, like, intimate and would be strange to then pivot to a different route. Right? I might check that out. Then I'll scare them away. And although I felt a comfort in his arms, a comfort I'd long missed, I knew it wouldn't be enough. The wounds were too fresh. I counted his heartbeats one by one, a steady lullaby that softened the ache in my head, but not in my heart. And then at last, sleep overtook me. I wasn't sure if there was anyone out there who could hear my pleas, but I dearly wished that this would be my final slumber. Excuse me. Thank you for playing the demo! Well, this might end on an angsty note. The full game definitely is happier, and there are plenty of good times ahead. No! No. Okay. Put in some angst. You know, don't make it all happy. I'll get bored, okay? I'll get bored. I'll get bored if you make it all happy. Join our Discord server to catch up with the... I might do that. Oh god, I freaking hate... I hate how bright it is. Okay. Okay. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna go back real quick and check if that choice matters. I think it does, because I think I remember it being like, your choices will influence a later thing, a later scene. I'm gonna do it. Okay, I did go back, and it does change, and I chose Seiya this time. Oh my god, that was crazy. Play the demo for yourself if you want to see the other endings. I think I'm gonna keep them for when I actually play the full game. But yeah. Yeah, I was a bit iffy on it at the beginning. The humor wasn't entirely my kind of vibe. Not entirely. Maybe that's not it. Maybe my thing came from, hey, these people feel feel close to her way too quickly, and they're like, not that way actually, she feels close to them way too quickly, and she's like contributing to their like jokes and acting as if they have inside jokes, and it just felt like it happened a little too fast for me. But I also understand that it kind of has to, and that maybe that is that's just a part of the game, that she feels very comfortable around them very quickly because, you know, one of them might be her soulmate or whatever. All right, so there's that. But I hate to say it, but the angst got me, and actually getting confirmation, to me anyway. Oh no, I fucked up. Getting confirmation that Aries is Felix, to me. Oh, also, I think I have a theory that Zafan was once an angel now as well, due to what happened in Sayer's ending bit. Maybe. I'm so sorry. So yeah, that ending also cemented Sayer like as one of my favorites as well, honestly. Ending to the demo, not into the game or anything. I am curious as to how came how that ending goes, but I don't want to do it because I'm pissed off at him, you know what I mean? And like, I get it, like, to all the Kame lovers out there, I get it. Like, maybe because he is a demon, he doesn't totally get it. He doesn't, like, understand how he may have learned something would not work on someone who's still pretty human and is not really a Reaper yet. But for someone who thinks he's so fucking smart, you'd think he'd have, like, thought of that concept before doing it. But also, I think he's actually just... I don't think it's that he doesn't have empathy necessarily. I think it's just that his rage overrid, like, all of that. And he was just like, demon, punishment mode. You need to be punished. Like, but he was like, maybe when he was growing up, he was like, hey, your actions have, like, his father or whatever, right? I don't know how these people have come to be, but whoever taught him growing up and looked after him growing up was like, your actions have consequences. So now you have to be punished. And so he's like, hey, that's how I grew, so that's how everyone else should grow as well. So yeah, I do understand that there's probably reasons behind it, but I don't have to like him. I don't have to like, there can be reasons behind anybody treating somebody badly. But that, like, your intent matters to an extent, but, like, you hurt the main character real bad. You showed her best friend and old love, getting their head chopped off just like they did. But only they were fucking alone. Their friend was alone. She wasn't there for them. And, like, that would break anybody. Especially when they had just started getting their memories back as well. So she hadn't even seen Felix, like, in a good way. She had, like, no memories. She had, like, no vision, like, visual memory of him patting her head or, like, carrying her, like, when he was happy. She had no visuals of that. The last thing she had a memory of was him wailing in pain and despair over her dead body. And then he's like, hey, come with me to the Hall of Memories, or whatever it's called. And she's like, oh, I don't really want to do that. And he's like, come anyway. And then drags her off to it. And then he forces her to view a memory of a reaping of her BFF. Secret lover. And that's so fucked up. I don't know how you redeem him after that. I'm curious. I'm very, very curious, because I'm not against a redemption. I'm very, very curious, but he is actually last on my list now. He was already not that high because I don't like his character type, and I don't feel that attracted to Megane characters in general. Just because Megane characters will have, like, a character type usually associated with them, or have that character type, like, sucked into another character type. So there's, like, two character types going on in there, kind of. I don't know if you know what I mean. But yeah, that this I don't know. But yeah, the angst just fucking drew me in, and I hate that there's not going to be much more of it, but there should be. She didn't say, hey, there's no angst, there's just happier moments coming up, you know? Which is great. Do not be afraid to put angst in your games, please. Virtue is like one of one of my favorite Otome games. It made me cry so fucking bad. To the point where like I play, no, I can't see anything. I play on my bed, which is right over there. I was like banging the bed. Sorry, the fucking screen is so bright. If I could have one complaint, although I think that maybe the background has something to, like, why it's so white is maybe something to do with Purgatory. I don't know. But I would want it black, please. Like, nice black and dark blue, like a lot of the other motifs are. But, because it's just too bright. It's too freaking bright. But, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I did not expect that. I did not expect Kaim to do that. And you know what? Thank you, Kaim. Thank you. Thank you for giving me a troublesome love interest who I may struggle with, but who also brought about this angst and brought about Aries doing that. Like, going and being like, what the fuck? Why did you do that? And then, like, spitting facts at him, you know? And Seir held nothing back either. For such an innocent guy, he was like, how could you fucking do this? I hate you right now. And yeah, he's lost his wings. Like, and it looks really painful. So she wasn't even like carried back that time. She was like, no, I'm gonna walk, it's fine. Like, I'll help you walk back, Seir. And then, but she didn't even like leave off with Seir. She left off with her and Aries, I think, like sleeping on a couch, because I think Seir was sleeping on a bed. So does this mean that that was all of the common route and then it starts off on a route, or are we going to get more character specific that you've like chosen choices to? Is it going to continue for a little bit on the common route, or is that it? I don't know. I should check. Salvus, Aries. Demo. Chapter. So. Never mind, that doesn't really help. Came demo out a year ago, what? Anyway, different boys have different endings. Demo, oh no, this is really old. I recommend also saving in chapter 4. Yeah. Why? Oh, you know what? There's an about me section. Oh, he doesn't have a... Oh, no, he does. He likes... So, Aries likes peace, being right, the opera, combat, wine tastings, elegant things. Dislikes when people are being stupid, having to clean up messes, when Zafan and Seir are being too loud, and dumbasses. That doesn't really give anything away, does it? Yeah, none of these give away. They're just, like, really surface level stuff. Okay, demo. The entire common route. 50k words, single ending. Well, it's not true, is it? The full game will be 450k words and 5 routes. The demo is not 50k words, right? This is like... No, never mind. It has to be. Oh, the full game will have an endings and a meter, so does that mean we'll know, like, which route we're going towards? Because we can check the meter? That's interesting. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna friggin... Oh, no. I'm gonna, finish it now, because... Sorry, I'm making that really small. Because this has been going on for 50 minutes. Okay. If you want to play... I know we went through a lot, but if you want to get the other... If, like, there's a guy that you like and I didn't do it, I would recommend getting the demo. It's free. It's on Steam. And then going through and getting that ending that you want, the ending to the common route, I guess. Yeah, that so saved the game for me, like 100,000%. I did not expect Kame to do that. I did not expect him to be that ruthless. I really didn't. That's crazy. That's a twist for me. A twist I didn't see coming. You know? I don't even think he gave a shit when he hurt her. Malthus cared more than Kime did. Like, that's crazy. Anyway, that's gonna be an interesting route to go through for sure. I will be playing this when it comes out. Like I said, it's a Kickstarter. I backed it a long time ago. Yeah. Alright, I will see you in whatever I play next, or not. Have a good day.